the battle for vacation dollars is as intense as the summer sun. When the whole world is a possible destination, can this cruise company bring enough passengers aboard to keep their stocks sailing?
What the heck's going on with these cruise line stocks? Earlier today, we got what I call a puzzling quarter from Royal Caribbean, the second largest player in the space. And it's the second puzzle in a row. The last time the company reported, the results came in substantially better than expected, but management cut their full-year earnings forecast. Then this morning, for the second consecutive quarter, Royal Caribbean did the same thing. They posted a 9-cent earnings beat off a $2.45 basis, with slightly higher than expected sales, up 20% year-over-year. Net yields, what they're making off of each passenger, came in higher than expected. It was a strong quarter. Yet once again, management cut their full-year earnings forecast, bringing the midpoint of the range down from $9.75 to $9.60. This despite the fact that Royal Caribbean's book position for the remainder of 2019 continues to set new records. So what gives? Why is management being so cautious, especially given the stock's more than 15% gain for the year? Let's go straight to the source with Richard Fain, the chairman and CEO of Royal Caribbean, get a better read on the quarter and this confusing guidance. Mr. Fain, welcome back to Mad Money.
Hi, Jim. Nice to see you. Thank you for having me back.
Of course. Now, Richard, I was a little confused. I mean, business is, I think, pretty fabulous. You are doing everything. We'll talk about Cuba in a second. But there you go. You start talking about the R word. You talk about recession. Now, of course, you're taking a dap, but I thought that you were more downbeat than your business this time, and I'm trying to figure out whether I should be more cautious about Royal Caribbean.
We have trouble understanding it, too, because our business is just doing fantastic. Our brands are knocking it out of the park. We raised our guidance. We raised our actuals. I think somebody needs to take a cruise.
Well, I think you're right. I think they ought to go. They ought to go to the Galapagos, which I thought is unbelievable. They ought to have a perfect day. These are two brilliant ideas. I want people to know what you're doing because it's very inventive.
Well, innovation is part of our DNA, and I'm really proud of our people who keep innovating. And the results is every year for the last 10 years, we've raised our guest satisfaction. We keep raising our yield expectations. We keep producing better earnings. I'm not sure what the street did today, but I think the company's going to keep doing the right thing, and it'll pay off.
Well, I know that you were joking even in your commentary about how there's a ball bearing manufacturer who's talking about experiential. But my wife went on a Galapagos cruise. It's her favorite cruise ever. She happens to like cruises. This, to me, is the kind of thing that Gen X, millennials, parents, grandparents must be taking together, because my wife said this Galapagos is the most exciting cruise in the world.
It really is. I mean, we actually got there originally. My daughter lived in the Galapagos for a couple of years. It's such an amazing place. It changes everybody's lives, but it's just one of the many kinds of itineraries we offer, and people are loving it.
Well, let me ask you about the oddest one. I know many people who took a cruise to Cuba, and everyone told me, you better do it now because something's going to happen. I never thought it was going to be something going to happen, meaning I thought it was going to be open to everybody. But did you just wake up one day and learn, like June 5, that June 6 you couldn't go?
Well, technically, yes. In point of fact, the administration had telegraphed that they were considering it. We thought that if they did something, they would do it with some lead time. And unfortunately, they didn't. They just said on June 5 that you can't go there on June 6. And, of course, we had to abide by that. So that was a big hit. But it was a bump in the road of, I got to tell you, a really wonderful road.
Now, you made good for everybody. It sounds like that people just were willing to go to other places. It wasn't like anybody seemed very angry at Royal Caribbean.
No, we took proper care of our guests. I think that's very important to us. The reason that we're doing so well is because we keep wowing our guests. We keep exceeding their expectations. And when something does go wrong, we do our best to mitigate that. And here we did the same thing. We've repositioned the ships. We've moved people to different itineraries. We compensated them when they had to make some changes in their schedule. And so, yeah, the reaction from our guests was actually, in terms of what we did, was very positive. Still disappointing to them and to us, but at least we did it the best we could.
Well, you've also, I think, been at the forefront of ecology and environment, and I want everyone to know that you have new ships or LNG. Talk about what you're doing. Single-use plastic, zero-emission fuels. These are obviously important to millennials, important to Gen X, and important to you.
Well, and they're important to our people, and that's why I think we've been so successful at it. And by the way, the whole industry is working hard to do a better job on the environment. I'm very proud of what the industry is doing. I'm very proud of what our people are doing. So adding LNGs to the ship, the elimination of single-use plastics is a real challenge, but it's one that we've undertaken and that we're well on the way of. But it's not just on the ships, it's sustainable food sourcing, sustainable tourism. We really, this is an important time in our world's history. We're faced with really a challenge of epic proportions with climate change. And I'm really glad to see so many people taking so many actions to try and move this in the right way.
Well, you go contrary to a lot of wisdom. You're doing that. I think that's terrific. Good example, you say China. The respect of the seas, people would say normally you shouldn't be there right that with this, but you are not afraid. You're a pretty bold guy. How's that working?
Well, it turns out it's working beautifully. Remember, as you well know, we're a very long-term business, or it's a highly capital-intensive business. We need to always think 3 or 4 years out. And right now, the Chinese economy is suffering. But starting really 4 or 5 years ago, we really ramped up our efforts to get the message out better, to get the distribution system to understand better how to sell our product. And the result is that even though the China economy is obviously faltering, we're not. We're having a record year there. It's much better than last year. It continues to improve. We brought out more capacity. We're filling the extra capacity, and we're filling all of it at better pricing. It feels pretty good to me. All
right. Now, Rich, I know it's a news show and it's an economic show, but I do have to point out, I know in light of the recent tragic events on one of your ships where a toddler fell from a terrible thing, toddler died on one of your ships, changes in protocol, what are you trying to do? How do you make sure that doesn't happen again?
So, that is just so heartbreaking. It's just an amazing event. But I think that we take this very seriously. We have amazing protocols in place. We have a very strong process for doing it. And I think we have acted properly, and we will continue to do so. In terms of what happened there, actually, we are working with the prosecutors in San Juan, and they will be completing their investigation, we hope, fairly soon.
So, in other words, they're looking into it on behalf of the parents, just because that's what they must do in a suspicious death situation?
I think the authorities, quite rightly, are investigating everything, and our job is to support them, but not to comment.
Excellent. I understand exactly what you have to do, and I want to thank you for coming to the show. That's Richard Fain, Chairman and CEO of Royal Caribbean. Excellent quarter, sir. Don't understand the stock. It's a buy. Stick with Cramer.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.